Okay. So, Hanlon's razor reads, never attribute to malice that which can be adequately explained by stupidity. I'm sure it's something that we've all heard quite a bit in our days on the internet. And basically, you know, it means, hey, if something bad happens, don't always think that it's happening because, you know, there's malice involved. Don't think that it's a concerted effort to screw people over. Sometimes it's just because the people doing whatever they were trying to do were just dumb, and they fucked it up. And I'm making this video because this right here sort of woke me up to something. This here is a Janna nerf on patch 8.8 that just came out like 2 days ago, I believe. And it has got to be one of the most insulting, just pointless nerfs I have ever seen in my life. And by that I mean it has not solved the issue of Janna being a complete powerhouse, which we will get to. And it just brushes off the issue so blatantly. And I wanted to make this video because, like I said, this has put it together for me. You know, for the longest time, I have subscribed to the idea of, you know, the Omega LOL Silver Balance Team meme that Riot has worked so hard to disprove so many times. You know, that idea came from like, hey, look, this balance team is... Look at these changes the balance team is doing, man. Look at how they're over-buffing things. Look at how they're ignoring things that are broken for several patches, a la Zoe. Look at what they're doing. And just look how incompetent it is. And, you know, never attribute to malice what can be adequately explained by stupidity. Hey, the Silver Balance team, they're just dumb. They have no idea what they're doing. They're stupid. You know, it was much better back in the day. You know, back in Season 4, Season 3... earlier Season 5, pre-Juggernaut patch, it was so much better. The balance team is just stupid now. Something changed. Well, I don't think that's the case. And I think we only need to take a small look at history to show that, no, in fact, the balance team is very fucking competent. Have they made mistakes in the past? Yes, they have. Especially with just complete oddball things that just catch them off guard. You know, Skarner, when they reworked Skarner, and he had that ridiculous win rate for like 2 patches or something. You know, I honestly think that was just incompetence. They were like, holy shit, we just did this major rework to Skarner. We thought he would be okay, and now he's broken. What the fuck do we do? But there are other things that are just completely inexplicable. Both, you know, very quick nerfs. Very quick nerfs and very delayed nerfs that just don't make sense. And I honestly think that Riot's balancing is biased. I think that they are not interested in the health of the game. They are interested in how much they can squeeze out of the player base, how much they can keep people who spend money playing the game. And I can't prove that, obviously. There is no way anybody could possibly prove that, but I'm going to simply present my case, and I'll leave the conclusions up to you. So, let's take a little history lesson. We're going to go back to, I believe, July of 2017, last year. Season 7. Singe had just received a significant update, and this isn't going to be a Singe bitching video, this is just an example I'm using. Singe received a significant update. He got a new passive, he had the numbers on a bunch of his abilities tweaked, he got grounding on his W. Singe was in a really bad spot for a good year and a half. Since basically the beginning of Season 6 to, you know, up to July Season 7, Singe was very bad. He was a crappy champion. All the Singe mains hated playing him. Midway through Season 6, you know, Singe being bad, combined with the fact that the game was just horrible at the moment with Dynamic Q, I decided to quit the game for like 5 months and play Overwatch, but we don't talk about that. But the point is, he was very bad for a long time. And finally, you know, the balance team finally decided to pay attention. And after consulting with Singe mains for a little bit, Manwolf Axeboss, in his last final attempt at Riot, because he was leaving, decided to listen to the community, and they, in the end, decided to buff Singed through a series of small ability reworks and tweaks, and just generally making him more powerful. And yeah, it was great. You know, he was very fun, and his win rate sort of shot up, as is to be expected, because so many fucking Singe mains were suddenly playing Singed. So many people who had just let their accounts decay to like platinum and shit, or gold, were suddenly playing again, and obviously they were fucking shit-stopping everybody as they were climbing back to a respectable elo again because their champion was actually good. So Singe's win rate shot up. A lot of people started playing Singe again, he had a high play rate, and 24 hours, I believe it was less than 24 hours, after the patch went live, Singe was hotfix nerfed. Now, if you weren't around at that time when it happened, and you aren't, you know, like a silver player who just thinks that, who doesn't understand that anybody with, who can press their CC key, can fight against Singed adequately, you would have thought that this was justified. But the thing was, this hotfix nerf, even if it was justified, was released far too quickly. With less than 24 hours of data, Riot released a just massive nerf. It wasn't massive, but it was significant. They hit his ult cooldown and his early HP, so they made his early game blading shittier when it was already really shit, and they nerfed his ultimate, which, without his ultimate, Singed is not Singed. That ultimate cooldown nerf is what makes us need to take Ultimate Hat today, because without it, it just feels really bad. Your ult has such a high cooldown, since you don't build CDR naturally in your kit in a normal Singed build. And this happened just so quickly, and we were all just completely fucking taken aback. Like, why, with less than 24 hours of data, would Riot release this hotfix nerf? A hotfix nerf. If it was next patch, we could maybe understand that, hey, they had, you know, a couple of weeks to look at the data and have concluded, hey, maybe it's too powerful. But 24 hours is just ridiculous. And here's what I think happened. I think that Riot took a look, and they saw that perhaps Singed was a little bit overpowered. Maybe he was. We never got to find out. We never even got to check. But let's say in that 24 hours, they were able to gather enough information to figure out that, hey, Singed was too powerful. So they released an immediate hotfix nerf. They said, hey, you know, we're going to solve this problem before it becomes a problem. Okay? And that didn't make sense to anybody in the Singed community, because Riot doesn't do this with any other champion. You know, when they release a new champion and they're overpowered for the first month, and Riot does nothing, and they're blatantly overpowered, and everybody's saying that they're cancer to play against, Riot does nothing. And yet, with less than 24 hours of data on Singed, they're able to conclude that he is overpowered. So that, you know, let's say it even takes a week for them to gather enough data on a new champion to determine they're overpowered. Which, once again, I do not believe the Riot balance team is incompetent. I believe they are able to interpret this stuff properly. I believe they can see the numbers and the data, and they know what's broken and what's overpowered in the game. And yet Zoe can be released and spend 3 fucking patches in a broken, cancerous state where nobody enjoys playing against her. She is ridiculously powerful. She is pick ban all the time. And yet, for some reason, despite the fact that it takes them less than 24 hours to see a problem with Singed that no Singed main can see, it takes them a month and a half, 2 months to solve a problem that every single player can see with Zoe. Every single player from Bronze 5 to top tier challenger, Korean high tier challengers are saying Zoe's too powerful. Everybody can see this, and yet it takes them a patch and a half, sorry, a patch and a half, 3 patches, a month and a half almost, to fix this issue. Now, why is that? Why is that? Why does that take so... Why is Janna, a champion that has been, quite frankly, one of the most powerful champions in the game, if not the most powerful champion in the game, for the last 7, 8 months, and who has never... I say this as somebody who has played since the beginning of Season 3, pre-Season 3. I have never known a meta where Janna has not been playable. I've never seen... Yeah, there have been some metas where it's like, okay, engaged supports are more playable, sure, and Janna falls a bit by the wayside. But she's still playable. You still see her in LCS. You still see her everywhere. You still see her in high elo. Janna is the basic bitch of support. Anybody can pick her up, and anybody can play her. And you always see her because she is always consistently powerful. And yet, despite this, despite Janna being powerful and in the meta for the last, as far as I know, 5 or 6 years, probably even more. I can't speak for Season 1 or 2 since I wasn't playing then. And being, quite frankly, brokenly powerful, to the point where she is pretty much either the best or, like, close to the best champion in the game for the last 7 to 8 months, she receives this paltry, insulting nerf, which does absolutely fucking nothing to address any of the issues that she has that make her too powerful. I mean, look at this nerf. Her movement speed has been reduced from 320 to 315. She has lost 5 movement speed, base movement speed. And the base damage of her W has gone down by 5 damage at all ranks. This is nothing. This will change nothing. This will affect Janna's win rate by 0.1, 0.2%, if that. Nothing is going to change with this fucking nerf. She is still going to be ridiculously powerful. And look at this. Janna's high speed allows her a bit too much control over trades, while the base strength of Zephyr means she's just winning those trades too often. Okay, no, that's not the problem. That's not the problem. She pokes too hard in lane with her E. And her shield is ridiculous. And the shield meta at the moment is ridiculous. Yes, Janna is too powerful. She needs nerfs. But supports in general need to be nerfed. Okay? ADC in general needs to be nerfed. These roles are too powerful. And instead we get this bullshit explanation that does nothing. It doesn't address any of the issues we're looking at. Why? Why does this happen? Okay, well maybe it has something to do with the fact that Janna is like the most played support. And, you know, has always been a high pick support. Okay? Why did Zoe not get nerfed for 3 patches after release? Well, maybe it's because she's a new champion. Maybe it's because Riot doesn't want to nerf a new champion. Because, hey, look! You know, look at all the videos of ridiculous Zoe and people buying Zoe with RP, picking up that Zoe for that RP. And paying for it. Riot does not want to fucking nerf that shit because they want everybody to buy her first and then they can nerf. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Wargaming, who run World of Tanks and World of Warships. How they will release premium vehicles, so premium tanks, premium ships, and they have a policy of never nerfing these vehicles. If you pay money for a ship in one of these games, they will never nerf them, or a tank. They will never nerf them. Okay. They will never. If at any point they become too powerful, they simply remove them from sale, and you can never buy them again. But they will always still be in the game. You can always still play them. You can always play these broken, powerful tanks or ships. They just remove them from sale and say, hey, that's the problem. Because you know what? They tried to do it once. They tried to nerf a premium vehicle, and everyone went fucking insane over it. It was like the Type 99 or something in World of Tanks. I don't know. I wasn't playing back then, but I've heard the stories. And then I was like, no, this isn't what I paid for. And instead of just being like, hey, you know, this is a game. You know, things need to be balanced to make it fair. They're just like, oh, it's alright, we'll revert it, and we'll just remove it from sale. And they constantly do that. I own a Kamikaze R and a fucking Mikhail Kutuzov on World of Warships. They just remove them from sale and say, yeah, they're broken, but hey, the money's there, so we're not gonna change it. Now, League of Legends being, you know, with a completely different style of how it works and how you get the characters to play. I remember getting into an argument with somebody who played World of Warships who said that League of Legends, the way it monetizes the game is worse than Wargaming. I couldn't believe that. Wargaming is ridiculous. At least League of Legends is not that bad. But it is clear that Riot is fucking biased in their decision making. Why do they not know? It takes them 3 patches to get enough data on Zoe to make nerfs to her, to the point where she isn't ridiculous. 3 patches it takes them to do that. No, it doesn't. They knew within the first, at very most, the first week of Zoe being up that Zoe was the problem. But when the balance team wants to fucking nerf her, of course the higher-ups say, hey, no, you can't do that. We need to make sure this champion sells first. Then you can nerf her. Then you can deal. Once, because, you know, when the champion first comes out, the sales graphs will be very high, very high, very high for the first, you know, month or so. And then they taper off. They go down and they go down. Eventually it levels out. It reaches a median. And, you know, the hype dies down. And at that point, yeah, you can nerf them. Because you're not really going to lose any money at that point. But no, you can't do it when it's up here. You can't fucking nerf that shit when it's up here. Okay, you have to wait. Okay, and that is exactly what Riot does. And it's exactly the same thing with Janna. Now, but Chimsa, Janna's been out for fucking years. Riot isn't making any money on Janna. Oh, okay, you know, they released a Star Guardian skin or something, like, whatever. But they're not making any money on Janna, right? Well, bullshit, they're not making any money on Janna. Let me ask you a question. How many girls do you know who play this game? And this is going to sound ridiculous, but bear with me. How many girls do you know who play this game? Not many. But of the girls that you do know who play this game, how many of them play support? Most women that I know of that play this game, or that I've heard of that play this game, play support or ADC. They play bot lane. And that might have something to do with the fact that most women I know who play this game, or I've heard of who play this game, got into playing this game because, you know, their significant other was playing the game. Generally, their boyfriend or, you know, another male friend was playing the game and said, hey, come play this game with me. Let's play bot lane, you know? You can be the support or you can be the AD carry and we can work together and I can teach you the game. I know this because that's how I got into the game. You know, I would play support or AD carry and I had one of my friends do it with me. And eventually, you know, they stick. Why do you think there are so many female support mains out there? Because they stick with this. Okay? Now, that's not the only reason in my opinion. You know, there's a reason why most women don't prefer competitive games, why you don't see them, many women in high-tier competitive matches, and why the ones you do see are generally transgendered. Because women are less risk-averse. They don't like competitive risk-taking games like League of Legends, where you have to make calculated risk and do crazy shit. You know, you don't see many female tank mains who have to decide when to go in. You see some female mid laners, but the point I'm trying to make here is that support is a very risk-averse role. Your role as a support, if you're not playing an engaged support generally, is just, hey, protect my AD carry, protect my team, provide heals, provide shields. That's why Janna and Lulu and Soraka are so popular. Okay, because they are some of the least risky champions in the game. Janna is one of the least risky champions in the game. All she has to do is sit back and shield. And that is very naturally attractive to women, because biologically, and obviously there are exceptions. Oh, you know, I know some... Okay, obviously there are exceptions. There are exceptions. I know... My friend Barry is a male support main in this game and in fucking Overwatch and pretty much every game he plays support. You know, if you're less... If you don't take as many risks, these roles are appealing to you. And it's why they're so good for starting out the game. You know, if you want to start playing League of Legends, the best way to learn probably to start off is to play support. Because your role is very binary. It's very simple. You know? And Janna just epitomizes all that. She is the least risky, easiest to play support. She is the basic bitch of support. She is very simple. Shield people, throw out your fucking W to knock people up, poke people with a point-and-click ability, and that is the basic. Yeah, of course, you know, you get into the point where harassing and laying with Janna, but you don't even need to do that. If you just play basic bitch safe, you can get to at least gold on fucking Janna. Easy. Okay? And that is why Riot is so hesitant to nerf Janna, because a whole bunch of players in this game, I'm not just talking about the, you know, a lot of the women who played this game. Oh shit, what'd I do? No, go away. I'm talking about just a whole ton of people who are just risk-averse. This is a playstyle that fits for them. They like playing support, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's fine to play a less risky playstyle. Okay? There's nothing wrong at all with that. But because it's so popular, Riot wants to skew the meta towards it. Because here's the thing. These people will play the game for 1 year, maybe 2, and then they'll get bored of it and they'll stop playing. And if you look at... for those who've been playing for fucking 4 or 5 years, or however many years, go into your League of Legends client, look at your purchase history, and see how many skins and champions you bought within the first 1 or 2 years of playing. For me, in the first 1 and 2 years of playing, I think there's like 50%... I've bought 50% more stuff in the first year and a year and a half of playing this game than I have in the next 3.5 years combined. Okay, because at a certain point, you're like, okay, I have the stuff I want, I'm no longer going to spend money. And the people who are attracted to these sorts of champions, I think, and this is just my hypothesis, if you disagree, please comment below and let me know. I feel as if it's like a pump and dump thing. Oh yeah, play with us for a year until you get bored because you're playing a playstyle with very low risk, and that gets boring quite quickly. And then you're too scared to play anything else, or, you know, you don't like it, and you just leave. And I think Riot is hesitant to stop this bot lane meta. They are hesitant to nerf supports, who are ridiculously overpowered at the moment, because they don't want to alienate that player base. Because that player base makes them a lot of money. There are so many fucking support mains out there, people who love playing support. Ever since, you know, Season 4, when trinkets came out, and, you know, new support items came out, and supports were no longer ward bots, which I think they should always be. I think that support should be a role that nobody likes to play, in my opinion. Because it's just going to be too powerful otherwise. Ever since that point, it just became like, you cannot nerf support significantly without alienating a good deal of the player base. I think Riot learnt that from, you know, nerfing Sona into the ground, and they're very hesitant to do that again. I think that Riot is biased in their balancing decisions. I think that when the balance team sees something wrong and they put it towards the higher-ups say, no, you cannot fucking do this because it will alienate too much of the player base, and that will cost us sales, it will cost us RP sales, it will cost us champion sales, it'll fuck us over, it'll lose us money, and we don't want to do it. And who do you blame for that? I don't know, could it be the fact that the majority shareholder in Riot is Tencent? Chinese overlords? You know, back when that happened and nobody said it was gonna, you know, everybody on Reddit was saying, nah, just conspiracy theorists, nothing bad is gonna happen. Maybe something has. Because, you know, that was around Season 5, the Juggernaut patch, and after that, you know, we got the Juggernaut patch, which represented a massive shift in their design philosophy. And I think most people who have played the game for a long period of time will agree that it was around that time that the game started to go downhill. Riot is biased in their balancing decisions. They do not care about the health of the game. Do not believe this meme that the balance team are just these incompetent idiots that have no idea what they're doing. They know what they're fucking doing. They know what's wrong with the game. They can't change it. Even if they want to, they can't. Because Riot HQ, Riot Corporate says, no, this will cost us money. Okay? Now, if you disagree with me, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. If this gets on Reddit or anywhere, it's probably not. But hey, you know, if you want to post it there, sure. Let me know. Talk to me. tell me I'm wrong, because I want to be wrong. I want to just because at this point we only have two explanations. It's either the balancing team is fucking retarded, or they're biased. The company is biased, and they curate the balancing decisions and make sure that they don't lose. That their bottom line stays stable. Which, yes, they're a company. They need to make money, but they're still one of the biggest games in the world. They're not fucking hurting for cash. So tell me what you guys think. This is just my opinion. Hopefully I've convinced you, because I believe this now. For the longest time, like I said, I bought into the silver balance team meme. I don't anymore. This just woke me up. This is ridiculous. They'll have been better off not just doing anything to Janna, because this is going to do nothing. Janna's going to see no change. She's going to be the exact same win rate. Nothing's going to change at all. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. I'll see you all later. Yeah, enjoy the game, because I'm really not at the moment unless I do stupid shit. I guess the point is, don't take this game seriously at the moment, because Riot doesn't. That's all. See you guys later.